Ladies and gentlemen, for your consideration, it's Mighty Rep time. So manufacturers or distributor marketing and sales teams of B2B products, they've got a lot of unique challenges when compared to consumer products. So as consumers in our daily lives, we're accustomed to doing the research on a product or service ourselves, and how we judge a product is often on more subjective characteristics like how it looks or how it feels. So I'm Richard, and I've been helping buyers and sellers be more efficient for more than 20 years across a variety of contractors and distributors. I've seen my fair share of approaches to selling products, and I understand both sides of the transactions professionally and personally. I want to walk through a few things that might resonate with you in terms of the challenges you face from a marketing and selling technical or niche products to business buyers. And I want to tie this back in with how Mighty Rep is going to help you. First off, always keep this in mind. When someone's coming to your website, they're coming for a reason. They aren't there for cute cat videos or free puppies. They're coming there because they're trying to do their job. So they're trying to get something accomplished. So when we buy things for use for a job in the trades or industrial applications, our criteria radically change, and there's a lot more specificity or objective measurements that we're using in terms of how we buy and what we choose to buy. So depending on the application, our choices can actually mean life or death. And I don't want to be dramatic about it. If I'm an electrician, you bet that my product choices have implications and consequences. The state of e-commerce today is evolving, and some trends don't really match the buyer's learned behaviors. And I say learned behaviors because that's what we've trained them to do, right? And so those learned behaviors, yeah, they're falling by the wayside a little bit. They want something different. We know they want something different, but what do they want? How do they want to do it? Because at the end of the day, they still got to do their jobs, right? And they still require different things than what we do from a consumer standpoint. So we've all been hearing about how digital natives are supposed to change everything, right? So with this in mind, I've seen the desire for manufacturers and distributors to push more self-service capabilities onto the person doing the buying. This e-commerce approach has left sort of a bad taste in the mouths of both sellers and buyers, and the success has been mixed because despite our best efforts, we're not meeting the buyers where they are. From the one side, buyers need the expertise of the seller to determine fit and function, and sellers want to spend time only on real potential buyers. E-commerce in a B2B environment, especially for niche products, has created this environment of frustration where buyers don't have the knowledge on how to decide what they want and what they require, and sellers are spending a lot of time trying to get their online catalogs to be user-friendly enough to allow the buyer to make a choice and make the purchase with as few touches as possible. I can pop off again, and I've done it more than once or twice, about how much IT time is spent on catalogs. Yeah, that's important, but that's not really necessarily moving the needle towards bringing the buyer and the seller together. And so anyway, I'll let you listen to another video on how I pop off about how much IT time is spent just on catalogs, right? So e-commerce was supposed to be this magical thing, the consumerization of business buying. So why hasn't that happened? Well, here's kind of a technical example, or the most technical example that I could come up with in terms of a consumer purchase that I've done recently. So I wanted to buy a carburetor for my 73 Mustang. I wanted a 750 CFM Holley Street Demon with vacuum secondaries and an electric choke. But here's the problem. I know what I wanted, but is it really the best fit for my engine package? Because I'm running a mild cam on 2V heads in my 351 Cleveland. Maybe I should just buy the Edelbrock, or maybe just go with the Summit Racing carb. Unless you're into old cars like me, you have no idea what the heck I was just talking about, but it is a reflection of one of the most technical examples I could think of to compare to business buying. As a consumer, I have access to online forums from other users. I have a lot of YouTube videos and things that I can access about, how to help me make my choice, but I don't really have any professional resources that I could talk to for my specific application. So how often do we as consumers nerd out on that level of detail for a consumer purchase? Not very often. So what did I end up doing? Well, I just bought based on the price and availability because in the end, it didn't really matter all that much. I mean, I could have left performance on the table, maybe fuel economy. Anyway, at the end of the day, it wasn't that substantial. I just wanted something that worked and drove and allowed me to enjoy the vehicle, right? Business buying is completely different. And so, kind of keeping with the electrical example, when buying gear, fixture, or lightings for a hospital job, we must go into every detail to make sure we're building quality, it's going to pass inspection, and it's cost effective, all with the time pressure, stakeholder pressure, and the boss asking about budget. So we know businesses buying products is different because the outcomes have higher stakes than virtually all consumer purchase choices. Now, okay, when you're talking about buying a house, that's different. But when you talk about your run-of-the-mill purchases, business buying is vastly different as it compares to consumer buying. So one is the specialized needs. Business buyers require a specific solution to a specific problem, and that solution has consequences. The second one, smaller target audience. Identifying and reaching the potential customers can be more challenging due to the limited size of the market. Your products are used by a smaller group of people with a bigger potential impact. And then the third one's going to be higher barriers to purchase. Decision makers in these types of purchases, they often require detailed information, justification for the purchases, necessitating a very strong educational approach. The need for relationship building. Trust and credibility are paramount, requiring businesses to invest time in relationship building and making sure that, hey, look, this partner is going to be my partner and is going to help me accomplish my goals. They have what I need. I like them. I want to be able to do business with them. Finally, the sales cycle. Unless we're talking a commodity, they tend to have a longer, more consultative sales cycle. So why is your current lead generation not working from your website? Well, first off, only 2% of the people fill out a contact us form, or they abandon a shopping cart. That's typically how you're getting your leads off your website, is that contact us form. So I'm not trying to insult anyone's intelligence, but I really wanted to drive home that even the most technical consumer purchases are different than business purchases because the process, the stakes, and the goals are different. Mighty Rep helps in several key areas. Buyers need help. The stakes are higher. What they're doing is complicated. Sometimes there's a lack of information. Buyers need help. Identify the buyers who don't fill out the Contact Us form. Remember, 2% actually fill out that Contact Us form, or they abandon a shopping cart. While they're doing their online searching, they're cross-shopping others because of uncertainty or lack of information. Get to them first. Get to them the information. Remember, self-service is great. Buyers haven't completely adapted to all of that. They're still looking for information. Second big part, you want to focus on the most serious buyers. You want to know who's doing the looking, what they're looking for, and how to reach them so the opportunity doesn't pass you by or a competitor grabs the sale. Third one is you want to make sure how to reach them. This is where marketing comes into play. When you do a campaign, you want to know if your method and your message is landing on the right targets. Mighty Rep's going to help you tell that. You also want to be able to track the buying process, score the intent, and understand the opportunity. So Mighty Rep helps you do all of this and integrates with your existing sales tools and provides you with the functionality so that you aren't flying blind or relying on cold calls from some list you bought or something from a trade show, and helps you feed this information into your sales pipeline to reduce the sales cycle time, create new relationships, and strengthen existing ones. More than half the time, if you're the first person to reach out, you're going to get the sale. Mighty Rep understands that business buying is different than consumer buying. The consumerization and the e-commerce approach, they're not working for a lot of the buyers and the sellers out there. The reason why is because of the learned behaviors of what the buyers expect and where the buyers are at. Mighty Rep's going to help you meet the buyer where they are by making sure that you're the first one to reach out so that you can get the sale. How do you do this? Again, Mighty Rep, mightyrep.com. Thanks for the time.